Now, I have to ask you guys something. What do you think of what is the first thing you think of when you hear the word fusion? Huh? What's the one thing you first think of? Well, the first thing you might think of is something scientific, like fusion generators, fusion energy, chemicals, stuff like that. But when it comes to an artistic standpoint, the word fusion takes on a whole different meaning. See, we've come to notice in a lot of medias, it's mostly animation and even anime and comic books, that fusion basically means the merger of two characters into one. Now, we're not talking things like, Transformers where you have multiple, robots transform into different parts to create a new robot. No. We're talking about two people that seemingly just start to blend together, and different aspects of each character start to represent who they are in this new entity, in this new personality. And sometimes it's more than just one character, or two characters, I should say. Sometimes it's more than that. Sometimes it's 3 characters. Sometimes it's 4 characters. And they basically at times like I said, when they fuse together, certain traits or aspects of who that person is represented in the new entity that they've become. And again, this seemingly seems to be a very popular art form, through either art or written literature, if you will, or written works, artwork or written works, that even though it's been around for a long time, I seem to have noticed it's gained more popularity in the past few years. Excuse me there. Years, if not the past decade, more than ever. It really has. It really has. You take a look at anime, for example, and anime is very well known for doing this at times. In fact, Dragon Ball Z is like the first thing that will come to people's minds. Dragon Ball Z will be the first thing that comes to people's minds when you take established characters or semi-established characters and fuse them together into a new character. An even more powerful character. But then you also have another anime, and one that recently came out a few years ago, called Vivid Red Operation or something like that. Well, you basically have this superheroine team of some young girls, young women if you will, that when the predicament calls for it, one of these girls will fuse with, I guess you could say, the leader of the group into a more powerful version of the two, capable of taking down this obstacle, this predicament that's in front of them. And I guess you could say it's kind of like taking on different colors of the rainbow. Because you see, the leader sort of has, I guess, is represented by the color of red or maroon or something like that. But when she fuses with one of her teammates, one of her friends, she takes on the color traits of that friend's outfit in more ways than one. The friend is still part of them mentally and visually through the colors, and maybe even as parts of the outfit, I guess. Or it's the other way around, I really don't know. But one, if not both of them, are still mentally, or should I say the one that fuses with the leader is still, like I said, from what I could see, from what I've seen, is still mentally there. And like I said, is kind of represented through the color that they are now wearing. And sometimes maybe even through some of the outfits, some of the parts of the outfit, which sounds a little crazy. I mean, I've come to think that Hold on. I've come to think because I saw an episode or two already, and it seems to me, the first episode, it seems to me that the young woman that had the blue outfit on, and the blue uniform on, was represented by the blue color, again, when they merged together, and was mentally still in there. And again, like I said, was, mentally, hold on a second, just gotta adjust the mic there, or the headset, but was still mentally still in there. But like I said, through the new outfit that the combined form had, I think she was represented through that, through the hair coloring, which also turned the same color as the uniform, as well as I think through some various parts of the outfit, like let's say rocket boosters. Yeah, she became basically the rocket part of her became rocket boosters or something like that. I don't really know, but again, this happens not once, not twice, not three times, but 4 times in the series. She does it with another character that kind of takes on a more serious warrior-like approach, I guess. But when they're forming, you kind of first get the impression that this new form is kind of like, more sensual, kind of exotic deal. Then you get another one that, and this color is green, and her color is green. Then you get another one that's color is kind of like yellow, golden yellow. And then the last one, of course, is red. And that's, I think, at the finale of the series. But this is stuff but a lot of fans, over at DeviantArt and other areas were actually happy to see this kind of a series because it had something in it that, as I mentioned earlier, even though it had been around for years and decades, was becoming vastly popular in media. And whoever was behind this with their anime studio, probably knew that. The wires hit the wall there. But whatever anime studio and creators were behind this, they pretty much knew that. So, does it surprise me? No, it doesn't. It doesn't really surprise me at all. But then you get to the artistic side of it, courtesy of artists, mostly fan artists, and the written side of it, mostly because of fan fiction writers. Oh, you even get the gist of it in comic books. Because yes, even comic books do it. Comic books will even do it, and there have been a variety of comic books that have done it. And there's been some shows here in the Western Hemisphere, if you will, with animation that have done it, even if it's temporary. But again, it shows you how popular this art form is, and why at several places like DeviantArt and Fanfic and So Furry that you have people basically drawing pictures, sometimes comic book-like pictures or panels, or just page by page, if you will, of characters fusing. And mostly sometimes it's the original character that fuses. Sometimes it's an original characters that will fuse together. And sometimes they'll take established characters and do the same thing. I'll get, one artist in particular, Doodly Dude, along with a few others, are part of this group at DeviantArt called Morpher Manor. And a majority of the characters here at the Morpher Manor group that have been created by these artists, most of them always end up fusing together with each other to become somebody else. And what's interesting about this, as well, is that when the characters fuse together and become one, what's unique about it is sometimes they will both have sort of mental physical control over the shared combination, shared form, if you will. And sometimes, depending on who the artist is or even who the writer is, because sometimes if they put it in written works or comic book form or whatever, depending on who the writer is, sometimes the character or his minds, individual minds, will merge together into one. It's true. Sometimes the artist or the writer, either it's through a fan fiction story or through, like I say, a web comic or fan comic that they make, sometimes the character's traits, or not traits, but sometimes the mental aspect of that character, the mind, will be separate along with the other, so that both can still communicate in a sense with each other. And that was my dog in the background. That was, like I said, that was my dog in the background. She's getting excited because I'm going to give her some dog meat now, so some pedigree meat. But like I was saying, it all depends on. Hold on. Like I said, it all depends again on who the writer is behind the story, whether it's a fan fiction story or the fan comic or whatever. That when they merge two characters together, sometimes, like I said, the characters will either have their own individual minds, or both their minds will combine into one mind, the mind of the combined form that they've become. Or there's the other option of the fact that both the minds will still be separate, but, and in a way oh, sorry, my finger hit the mic there. In a way, both gives them both physical control over the combined form they become, but also, in a sense, they become, well, not also sense, but the minds also give, I guess you could say, birth to a separate mind, which is combined, which is made out of both. I know that sounds strange, but there have been stories where characters will both individually have the mental aspects still intact, the mind still intact, but yet you'll have a third presence there, a third mind, which is basically created out of the combination of both. I know it sounds confusing, but that's kind of part of the whole fusion aspect, or at least one of the parts of the fusion aspect. And a lot of artists at DeviantArt or DeviantArt have shown this. They have. Doodly Dude has shown it, Kai has shown it, Kaboozle has shown it, Idle Monkey has shown it, 93 Mickey through his written works has shown it, Anime Wave through the written works have shown it, Akaruki, I apologize if I say the name wrong, Akaru, I guess. They have shown it. They've all shown it in their own unique way. And people like it. People have come to like it. They really have. They've really come to like it because basically what you're doing, is you're taking this art form and you're giving it more life. You're giving it more of a presence, in a sense, by taking some very popular characters that you've created or others have created and have decided, hey, let's see what happens if they were to fuse together or merge together.